Welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. Hi, I'm Christine. Well, their beauty has faded, and yes, it's a bit depressing. But since I'm super thrifty, I have other plans for these sunflowers. I'm going to dry them for seed for next year's garden. And I want it to be fantastic, with way more flowers, and I can already see it. It's going to be beautiful. I also want to dry some seeds for my chickens, because chicken feed is expensive. And let's face it, the chickens don't lay many eggs during the winter. So I'd rather not be paying a bunch of money feeding a bunch of freeloaders. So I've got some work to do to get these harvested and the seeds put up. Now ideally, you'll want to get your sunflowers stored when it's sunny and dry. However, life doesn't always go as planned. So here I am, rushing to get these put up before more rain comes. Now it's been dry for several days, but I didn't have time to harvest them then, and now it's rained all morning. I'm hoping that due to the tight seed heads, there won't be too much moisture, and I can get them dried down relatively quickly. Come along with me and I'll show you my method of preserving sunflower seeds. First, I wait to harvest until the sunflower heads are fully mature, and the back of the sunflower heads turn yellow with some brown spots. The heads will look kind of sad, all bent downward and droopy, and the leaves will start to turn yellow or brown. Now these sunflowers behind me are fully mature and ready for harvest. I'm going to cut off the flower heads, leaving a foot or two of the stalk attached so that I have a way to hang them upside down. And I also strip off all of the leaves and brush the small flowers from the face of the sunflower. Exposing the seeds will help to shorten the drying time. If you'd like, you could save some of these tiny little flowers from their faces to add to your teas. I hear it's really good. Before I start to remove the seeds from the seed head, I'll choose the best sunflowers to keep. And I save those seeds from the biggest flowers and the ones that show disease and pest resistance. I don't want to keep any seeds from flowers that had bugs or were maybe misshapen. I want the best genetics for next year's flowers. Each year's flowers should be better than the last. Anyway, the ones I choose will get set aside to use as my seed for next year. I'll probably take those inside to dry so that I can watch them a bit closer. I don't want any to split or mold, and I certainly don't want to share them with the mice. The rest of these will be used for animal feed. I also like to keep a few sunflowers whole to feed the chickens. I plan to hang some whole flowers in their coop upside down. They enjoy pecking the seeds from the seed head, and it will give them something to do in the winter months when there's no bugs or vegetation for them to peck at. So I'm going to set some whole flowers aside for the chickens. Now it does take more room to store them when they're whole. The rest of these seeds will need to be removed from the seed head for storage. Some of these smaller seed heads are already dried. They're pretty brown and brittle. As you can see, some of the seeds have already fallen out, so these will come out pretty easily. It's just a matter of pushing on them a little bit. Some of the greener seed heads, they don't come out so easily. They're packed pretty tightly together, and without it being drier so that the back will flex a little bit, it's just really difficult to get them out. It's really important to dry the seeds completely so that they don't mold. This can take anywhere from a few days to a few weeks, depending on the weather and the humidity. I hang my sunflowers from the rafters of our shop. A barn, shop, or basement will work as long as it's dry and there's air movement. Now keep in mind, these could attract mice and other pests, so you'll want to check on them every day. And get them stored quickly, or you'll lose all of your seeds to the mice or bugs. And I've done that in the past. I lost my whole crop one year to mice because I didn't check on them. And every flower head was picked clean. Now, I also have raccoons and possums and the usual rats and mice on our farm that are in competition for my sunflowers. So I'll be keeping close watch because I don't want to share. I'll also put a fan on them so that they'll dry more quickly. I don't want them to mold, and I need to get them put into storage as soon as possible. Once the flowers are dry, it's as simple as gently rubbing the flower heads to remove the seeds. You may have to pick at them a bit, but they'll loosen up and will peel off easily once you get a row started. But it's hard on the fingers if you have a lot to do. So I will probably enlist some help when these flowers are dry. Don't forget to sift out any debris, as this takes up storage space and it can also harbor bugs and pests. I'm feeding my chickens, not bugs. Next, store the seeds in a metal container to keep out any of the rats, mice, or other vermin. They're now ready to feed your chickens. All right, let's get back to the sunflowers that I plan on saving for seed. You'll also want to sort your seed you're holding for planting. Always make sure the seeds are mature and are not damaged or moldy. Pay close attention looking for small bug holes. Any seeds with bug holes will not be viable. The seeds you keep for planting should be stored in a container or an envelope and label it with the variety and the date of harvest. Store the seeds in a cool, dry place until you're ready to plant them in your garden next year. If you want to save some sunflower seeds for you to eat, simply rinse the seeds and then soak them in a salty brine for a few hours. Then you just roast them in your oven on low heat. And since I'm super thrifty, I plan on saving some of these stalks for next year. I plan on making a teepee trellis and planting something on it. I'm thinking of planting pole beans or snow peas on it because my grandchildren love to snack in the garden, and I think they'll have a blast playing in it. By following these simple steps, your chickens will have healthy, protein-rich feed for the winter. You'll also have a free supply of seeds for planting for a beautiful sunflower patch next year. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon.